Western Michigan. I think Coach Lester was the first guy. Ironically, yeah, he was the first guy to give me an offer. And back in junior year, obviously, I knew I could do it, but I didn't know if I was the Power 5 level yet. So was kind of banking on maybe a little bit of MACtion. Started getting the MAC schools and some FCS schools. And then Iowa State was my first offer. Campbell came and watched me lift, gave me my first offer, which was, that was great. But ultimately kind of decided, if I wanted to be tight end or DN. And wanted to be DN and I was a huge fan of the idea of playing in a 3-4 just because, you're eating a lot of double teams. But yeah, ultimately that's just what it boiled down to. I knew I wanted to stay in the state. And yeah.
So I read somewhere that said after you had committed, and then is it Alabama, Notre Dame? Did they reach out to you after you committed?
So Notre Dame, they wanted me to run some routes for them and play tight end there. And then Alabama, their recruiting coordinator was trying to get me on the phone, but at that point, I wanted to go to Iowa. So
why? Why did you not even entertain? What made you feel so strongly about Iowa?
Just the culture here. It's something I said a couple weeks ago, but they're just so unique in the way that, it's just strictly business here. There's not a whole lot of, especially KB. KB's one of the only guys that is just unapologetically himself, just tells it how it is. He's seriously one of a kind. KB is, he's great. Great coach, but he's just, he really embodies the Iowa culture. There's not a lot of flashiness, just let's go to work. And that's what I love the most.
Was it him and Neiman that kind of recruited you?
Yep. Mainly Neiman, but saw KB on the junior day visit. Was able to chat with him a little bit, and he doesn't sugarcoat things. A lot of these recruiters, they like to hype you up, but not KB. KB says it how it is, and that kind of earned my respect. So, yep.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem.
I haven't seen too many people with Carhartt and sandals.
Yeah. I'm not I'm kind of I don't know. Just like to be on the move a lot. Don't really have time to put socks on,
Yeah. Who do you study for your pass rush moves?
That's a good question. There's a lot of guys in the NFL. I think I probably got a top 3. Obviously, I think a lot of people make the comparison of Max Crosby.
Mm-hmm.
Crosby's definitely one of them. Hassan Reddick, he's kind of a smaller guy for the Jets, but he's got really good moves. He's really technical. He's surgical with his moves. And then TJ Watt, obviously, some of those guys. So.
Yeah, you're built kind of between the Watts in size.
Yeah.
I covered JJ. I'm old enough to cover JJ
Yep.
and TJ.
Yep.
But, so what do you take away? What's one move or what's something that you've watched, you've studied, you like that you've tried to apply to you?
So Hassan Reddick, he's got one of the best cross chops I've ever seen. It's just he's so good at it, and that's definitely one of the moves. The spin, I feel like I kind of have my own. There's a couple of ways that I set the spin up. There's different footworks that I use, different approaches. I feel like I'm unique in the way of the spin. The long arm, AJ Epinesa, he was really good at the long arm. I've kind of been able to get that as my main power rush. And then, that's pretty much it.
How do you get good penetration when a lot of times, I think most times, especially when you're running 2-gap, your first step's lateral?
That's something I'm still trying to figure out. Yeah, it's an ongoing process, and I think when I gain more weight, that's going to come easier. But that's something that playing D-line you're going to have to figure out.
Well, playing heavy 5 a lot of times, your head up.
Yep.
There's not a lot of gap.
Yep.
You got to move the gap in some ways. How do you do that?
Yeah. So the biggest thing is obviously. You gotta look at your keys. The biggest advantage you can get as a D lineman is to have an indicator on where the play is going, so that you can have some confidence. You can beat this guy first step, off the snap. The backfield formations, sometimes tackles will look where they're going. Depends on who you're going against, but just picking up on little things really.
A lot of times it's the alignment. You can tell, where their back leg is placed.
Absolutely.
And everything. Do you spot that on video a lot of times?
KB's really good at that. Sometimes I think it was Wisconsin, our tackle, he was in a squared stance, it was a run, and when he had a stagger, it was a pass. KB does a really good job of picking up on small details like that. So,
Yeah.
yep.
How did that help you guys that day? I mean, you pretty much knew they were tipping it off.
Exactly. Yep. We've also done a better job. I think last game we were doing it when we saw it. Maryland, both their guards when it was a pass, it was a 2-point stance. So I saw that. You kind of point to the sky, let the guys in the back end know that's going to be a pass. So yeah, that's something we're getting good at.
As far as playing heavy 5, but also keeping your gap integrity in the run game. How do you feel like you're progressing in that part of the game, and how far do you need to go?
So I feel like I've done a good job of, I feel like the hardest thing is reacting. The reaction is by far the hardest thing as a heavy 5, because if your gap moves to the left or the right, you got to have perfect steps or you're just not going to be in your gap. And something I need to improve on definitely is, I feel like I'm kind of a taller guy. Definitely got to improve on the pad level. That's something that, both Y and I can work on.
Right.
So, yeah. No.
How did how'd the spin move kind of start? Is that something you did in high school? Is it something KB thought you'd be good at?
Yeah, that is something, again, in high school, very raw, first year DN, junior year, didn't really know how to pass rush, didn't really have the rhythm to really throw moves at the right time. But one move that I could do was the spin, and that my high school coach, he played at Simpson, and I think he was kind of decent at the spin move, so he kind of showed me how to do it. It wasn't I feel like it's gotten faster over the years. It was kind of a little awkward in high school, but freshman year when I'm doing one-on-ones, I don't know what to throw, so I'm gonna go with my bread and butter. And they at first they were not a fan of it, especially Ferentz. I feel like he's a little bit old school, and you don't really see a whole lot of DN spinning and stuff. But I just feel like it's been productive. So if it's productive, then they're going to be okay with it. But yeah, I mean, I've been working on it, since I've been here. So.
Looking ahead a little bit with Deontay graduating.
Yeah, no problem.
And I think Herkett could come back if he wants to. I don't know. You probably
I'm
maybe
not
have talked to
really-
him about it. I don't know.
I'm not really
Okay,
sure what's
sure.
going on there, but
Who is?
Yeah.
But chances are you'll have an opportunity to step into that starting lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Have you thought about that much? Are you looking forward to it?
I mean, yeah, obviously. I mean, the more snaps, the better. I feel like I'm definitely in the position to take on that role. But as of right now, I'm just kind of focused on the next game. So,
Thanks,
yeah,
Max.
no problem.